we are back. Like we never left. I know I said that probably like 5 times in the past like few episodes, but that's all right because I'm just saying we're back and I'm excited to be back. The hiatus was great, but just stay tuned because more is to come. We're not over yet. But anyway, I'm super excited to be here today. And my name is Chanel Spencer. If you don't know by now, you see it here in the lovely banner. But I'm super excited to be here. I have some amazing, amazing, amazing individuals. I know I say this all the time. They're actually more than amazing. You're amazing. They're phenomenal and extraordinary. And I'm not trying to throw any shade to you, you know what I'm saying? But I just like to be connected to like phenomenal, extraordinary people because, when you're surrounded by extraordinary people, then you're only allowed to be extraordinary. I'm just saying. So I'm super, super excited. As you know, we are here for our lovely, lovely collaborative project, Employee to Empire. Because that's what we did. We all are literally working very diligently to build our empires, build legacy, build wealth, and get our families and our lives to the next level. So it's only right that I have phenomenal individuals that are on a mission to do the same. And so I just want to bring one of my lovely, she's actually a co-author on this book, and she talks about mindset all the time. Like even on our phone calls, we're talking about mindset, child. Like, girl, what did you do today? What's your plan? What's life looking like? What we got to do? Who we got to beat up? Like, I'm just kidding. We're not beating up people. We're very zen. We might meditate. You know what I mean? We might want to choke somebody, but we just more sit and meditate about it before we're working to respond versus react. You know what I mean? As a CEO, you have to learn how to respond to people because, you have to manage human beings. And I feel like the most difficult part in life are human beings. But when you're surrounded by amazing and phenomenal human beings, it just makes life that much easier. But don't get it twisted. As we have meditated and as we have transformed and grown, understand. I'm just kidding. Hey, let's bring one.
Understand that we will beat you up if we need to.
Don't play, okay? Listen, the client, the customer, you're right. But okay. So say hello to the beautiful people, Lindsey. I'm going to give you 30 to 60 seconds to introduce yourself. I know you're going to do a phenomenal job because this is what she does, okay?
Hey, my name is Lindsey Vertner of Lindsey Vertner Global and the First Class Life brand. And it is my passion to help high-achieving women who struggle with things like perfectionism, overthinking, and doubt to increase their clarity, confidence, connections, and cash flow. That is my purpose. It's my mission. I was able to do that for myself after fully recovering from a 2007 car wreck that left me brain dead and paralyzed. And now I do it for women all across the world. And that is the gist of what I do, and I'm looking forward to this amazing episode with Chanel and the other amazing co-authors of this phenomenal book.
Listen, what I told you, didn't I tell you she does this like clubhouse? Listen, Lindsey used to run clubhouses and have like 100 people in there, and just like she speaks, she does all the things. Listen. So what happens when you're surrounded by phenomenal people that know they're phenomenal, but just don't like to keep it cute and try to be humble? They do things like that. Like, I help people. She just slid over the fact that she was almost paralyzed and all those other pieces, right? But she's no joke. So how do we meet, Lindsey? I feel like how do we meet? I feel like we connected. What was it in the Book Profits Club? Something
The book club boot camp.
That's what? Wait, the book
book club boot camp book club
book camp boot camp. No, book camp. Something a camp to books. I mean,
a camp about writing your book in a weekend.
There you go. Exactly. That's how we actually met. Then we ended up going to Mexico twice. For business. She was hosting a mastermind with like 10 to 12 amazing women, and we did some photo shoots but the first time we went to Mexico, we ended up having to fly like a movie scene out. Like they were like, you guys have 3 hours to get out of the country. We're like, I'm sorry?
A hurricane.
It was insane. The first couple, what was that, 24 hours? But as then we've blossomed and we're continuing to grow, and I'm super excited to have her on this book project. And you talk about mindset, and I feel like that's super important. So tell a little bit more about how you help people from a mindset perspective.
Well, mindset is at the core of every single thing that we do. So it doesn't matter if you have all the systems in place, if you have all the tools in the world and all the support in the world, if your mindset is not where it needs to be. Professionally, personally, it affects every single part of your life. And so I come in and I talk about how your mindset is affecting every single piece of your life and why it's so important that you are mindful of the things that you are thinking and what is going on up there, because it is influencing your behaviors, and your behaviors are influencing your environment, creating the reality that you live in, whether negative or positive. So we want it to be positive.
Listen, like you're absolutely right. You can't help the negative thoughts, right? But it's all about how, again, we respond to them versus reacting. So I absolutely love what you said in regards to just mindset. I feel like mindset is like the number one key to any level of success. Like no matter
Mm-hmm.
what you want to do, and even if you get to a level of success and you start having all this money, if you're still not good internally, it's going to show. So if you want to keep your coin, if you want to continue to build wealth, make sure that you work on your mindset because that's super important. And Lindsey, I don't want to kick you off the stage because you know my boo, right? But we got two other people here that's like sitting in the back, like watching us. Like, if y'all don't hurry up, one of our amazing featured business owners. Say hello to the beautiful people.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, I was super excited for you to be here. I'm gonna give you 30 to 60 seconds to go ahead and introduce yourself. The stage is yours.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Latika Vines. I am a career development strategist and coach, otherwise known as the Boss Mom Coach for Working Moms. And I help working moms who are stuck in their male dominated industry careers to honestly get back to their career vision. So many times we take positions and we do things to have flexibility or have the so-called work-life balance, but yet we are not fulfilled. We are not satisfied in a career. So I help those particular working moms to get back to their original career vision by one, having clarity, making sure they know what that is, honestly, then having the confidence to go ahead and pursue it, and having the control over their schedule, to be able to achieve it. And I love Lindsey's 4 C's because it reminds me of my 3 C's. So I see we are definitely connected that way. But it's so important for us as working moms to make sure that we have the support, have the accountability to be able to have the career that we desire, that God has given us, that we can be fulfilled in, that we can be satisfied in. And I'm just so happy to be here today.
Yes, listen. Again, I don't know if it's no shade to men because I think they're all like ego and we're the best, right? But I feel like as women we're just so modest, like I'm just here just to do things. Let me tell you something. I met Latika in an accountability group, and I don't know, like last year. Was it last year or a year and a half ago? Something
Maybe a
like
year and a
that.
half ago, yeah.
Child, I felt like a mess. Okay, I walked in and I was like, these women are gonna think I'm just like, girl, what are you doing? And we have something called the hot seat. Child, I've done it at least 42 times, and every time like, Chanel, you're in the hot seat. I'm like, I know you lying, right? And I know it's coming. I know that it's my week, and I'm still like, no, I don't want to do this, right? But like Latika will give you advice and tell you what to do, and then she'll be like, no, but that doesn't make any sense. And that's why I appreciate her. I really do, because I feel like with the core of our group, we all add certain value to it.
Mhm.
I come with the jokes all day, right? But then I also come with a lot of resources and all those other pieces. And I
Yes,
feel
you
like
do.
Latika is the person that, child, productivity queen. Listen, I feel like I be doing the most, but then when I talk to Latika, I be like, girl, you ain't do nothing for the week. What are we even talking about? She is no joke in that way. So I appreciate you for saying yes to being a part of this project, as
Yes.
well as the other projects that we're working on. And I just think that you're super, super amazing. And
Thank
I
you.
wait for us to continue to blossom and grow within the group, but also just as individuals and all those other things. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I love you, Chanel.
I love you too. Oh, and I was on a podcast, child, and I was like, I don't know what the vibe is. Like, am I supposed to be like, really thinking, act like I didn't know her, like, hey, I'm so happy to be here. She was like, Chanel, I love you. I'm like, girl, I love you too. Thank God. I didn't know what the vibe was. I didn't know how to come. And so the podcast interview was so much fun. It was a really great, great conversation. and I appreciate and was honored for you to have me on as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, and then we bring it on the next person. This one, let me tell you something. This girl I found on Instagram, and she probably was like, "Girl, what are you doing? Like, calm down, right?" But I'm very big on like branding and marketing and visuals and all those pieces. And then I saw her Instagram page and I was like, "Girl, I think I need you in my life." So come say hello to the beautiful people.
Hi, what a lovely introduction. Thank you for introducing me.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you 30 to 60 seconds so you can introduce yourself to the lovely, beautiful people.
Okay, well, thank you. My name is Jayla B, and I own my company, Ultravision. It was created by and for the passionate and aspiring entrepreneur looking to build their brand. We are your go-to powerhouse for web design, graphic design, and brand strategy services. By building a visionary brand with us, which is very near and dear to my heart, you'll be able to set a foundational brand strategy for longevity and attract ideal clients with a visual brand identity that captivates. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Super, super excited to be here amongst all these lovely ladies, beautiful ladies, and I'm excited to converse.
Yes, thank you. So, Jayla. So when I met her, I was like, "How old are you?" Because people tell me that all the time. Like, you look like you're 11 teen. And so when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, yay, I have an 11 teener too. Oh my gosh."
I love that term. I'm going to start using that now.
Right. But then she, like, a lot of times when people think that you're like super young, they like immediately like underestimate you. I already knew I didn't underestimate her at all because I saw her Instagram page and I felt her energy from our like first little 15-minute conversation. So I knew she was going to come with all of the information, all of the vibes, all of the things that I needed. And you have yet to like disappoint in just everything that you do. And no, for real, your organization. I was like, I knew when she sent me my welcome, I was like, I knew she was the one. I knew she was the one.
I love it. Organization is my thing.
Yes, and like just how you do everything from like everything that you do just looks amazing. So I appreciate you and I thank you for your. And we got other projects too. I'm super excited for you to be a part of them as well. And I'm gonna bring the rest of our lovely, lovely featured business owners and co-authors. Say hello to the beautiful. Say hello to the beautiful people one more time for me.
Hey.
Hello.
Listen, I like to surround myself with people, amazing people, and phenomenal people, but beautiful people too. Look. Okay, I'm not trying to say that I'm beautiful. I don't got my makeup on and all that.
Oh
stuff.
my goodness.
I want to go porn, but check out my Instagram page, and then you can highlight.
Good thing you're beautiful without makeup. So
she is. I was trying, I was kidding. So let's really quickly get into this. So a lot of you are either full-time business owners or are part-time or parallelpreneurs is like what I like to call them. So what do you feel in whether you're full-time or part-time, either way, if you have a full-time job and you're running a business, look, more power to you because
it's a lot.
Yes, to say the least. But don't get me wrong, being full-time has a whole nother type of energy and vibe because you're like, all right, well, how do I make $1 today? Right? So it's like either way, it's a challenge. But shout out to whatever phase of business you're in. So what made you decide that you wanted to have your own business? I'm going to start with you, Lindsey.
For me, I like to do my own thing. Period, point blank. Mm-hmm. I like to make my own schedule. I like to do what I want, when I want, however I want to do it. On the deeper end of that, I'm definitely breaking generational curses and creating a legacy for my family and a living legacy at that, because I don't want to be 80 years old just now enjoying the fruits of my labor. I want to enjoy that stuff right now. Okay. But the moment that I truly decided that corporate is not for me, I remember when I was a parallelpreneur and I never called off of work. I was always there, giving my all, giving the extra when needed and things like that. And it was when my son was just first born and I had just went back to work. And I hadn't called off, but then the one day that he is sick and my husband, he wasn't able to get to his phone at work and they were able to reach me. And we don't live near family, so I had nobody to go and pick him up from daycare, and they acted like it was a big deal. Mind you, they all had kids. And it was at that point that I was like, I wish somebody would tell me I can't go pick up my sick child. And so then I made a plan to work for myself and only myself. And if I work with a corporate business, it's on my terms rather than me on their terms. So
Yes, I love that. Listen, the beauty, okay, of being full time is that you have the choice of who you want to deal with. So sometimes, you're like, I'm going to pay you this. And it sounds really great. But my spirit child, the chakras, are just like, no, thank you. I'm going to gracefully decline. I don't care how much it is. Peace and environment is very crucial. And so, I completely agree with you in regards to now saying I'm kind of done with corporate. I feel like when you're on the cusp of it, you're ready to make the leap, but it's like certain things that you got to get aligned, right? Me, I didn't do that. I was just like Monday, I wrote my resignation letter, and Wednesday I sent it in, and I gave them 4 to 6 weeks to get their lives together because I understood the gravity of my position. I was the GM of the hotel, and that's like you might as well chop the head off of a person at this point. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you 4 to 6 weeks, one, so I can get more coin, but two, so that we can figure out a strategic exit plan. But I was done. There was just nothing. They gave me more. They gave me $20,000 more. Not even 2 weeks prior. They came and spoke to me about 5 times, and they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I am positive, okay, and I promise you I won't be coming back." But anyway, let's get back to it. So go ahead, Jayla. Tell me what made you decide that you wanted to start your own business.
Well, honestly, it was kind of a push. It was not something that I was like, yeah, I want to start my own business. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're in 2022. My goodness. In 2020, when the pandemic started, I lost my full-time job. I was working as a graphic designer and print specialist at a small print shop. And I lost that like in the blink of an eye. I asked about my job on a Wednesday, and then on a Friday, it was like, you're out of here. So I was like, okay, never again. So I had my side business. I'd been doing, flyers, graphic design, logo, and all that kind of stuff for about like 5 years or so. Started in college. And so at that point, I was like, okay, well, I was successful with my side business, so let me try to make it a full-time thing. I don't have a job, so let's try it out and let's see how that goes. So I did that, and full transparency. So I was full-time for about like a year and a half. And I just started working for another company this past October, which has been very interesting. It's definitely made me realize how much I want to go back to being full-time working for myself, because it's not it at all. But yeah, so that's kind of what got me started. It was really like a push into it. And I'm glad that it did push me into it, because I don't think that I would be where I am right now if none of that stuff ever happened.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of forced into it, but I don't mind that.
Listen, sometimes, Lord, thank you. I appreciate you for my journey. Sometimes you're not going to take the leap, or you're not going to take the risk, or you're not going to make the decision on your own. So then, the lovely Lord above just is, loves to play all day. He'll put you in a position where you have no other option. Like, all right, I've been trying to sneak it to you. I've been giving you crumbs. But clearly you don't want to listen. So how about this? Right? And the lightning comes, right? So listen, the point is that you, even if during that time you could have been like, oh, I'm laid off, I'm just gonna get unemployment, I'm gonna chill and just ride it out. You were like, heavy action. So that's why you are here today, and I'm super excited for you and for your continued growth. And then you said something else in regards to full transparency and going back. Child, I've been applying for like 14 jobs since I I'm like, what? How I made this money yesterday and no money for the past 5 days. This is ridiculous, right?
The bills have not stopped. The bills haven't stopped.
Exactly. Okay? Like, no. Like, what happened to all these people on social media that's showing that they made $500,000 today? Like, what happens to that energy? Like, hello, what? But no. So, like, first of all, that's like a really major deal. Sometimes, you have to take a step back, because you need the investment, right? You needed the investor money to invest in the business, and so going back to get a job, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because it's literally helping to fund your dreams. And so I commend you for making that decision because child, I applied and they was like no, and I was like there's a reason why, like, you know what I'm saying? There's a like guys like if you don't sit down and relax, like just relax and just have faith, I got you, boo. And
He does always. He always comes.
hold me, okay. So Latika, what made you decide that you wanted to open your own business?
Similar to Lindsey,
Mhm.
I actually found out that I was pregnant with my fourth daughter, and I freaked out because I was like, how in the world am I going to do this? How am I going to work my position in this male dominated industry? I got 3 kids at home. I live in a suburb, so work in the big city. How am I going to do all of this? And it was a hot mess because I could not, in my natural eyes, figure out how to get this done. Then I had my daughter and was diagnosed with postpartum depression when she was 7 months old. And that was when I literally was in the second baddest part of my life, if that's correct English. But I realized I needed to get myself together mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. And I've always been in the training development, learning development, workforce development industry, always been there. But I realized that I had taken positions on a mommy track to give me flexibility to be home with the kids. But me being home with the kids like certain days throughout the week, it did not give me the opportunity to be happy in the positions that I was in. I had bosses like yours, Lindsey, who basically I had one boss tell me, if you don't know how to handle taking care of your kids on the outside, you don't need to have
Because I
kids.
don't know why people play so much.
I had one person tell me, if you stop having sex, then you won't have any more kids.
First of all, don't. I'm sorry.
And I had another person tell me,
Responding, not reacting.
I had another person tell me that I need to do something better with my time than have sex with my husband, who is the father of all 4 of my kids and who I got married to first before I had kids with. And I'm talking about not just my colleagues, I'm talking about chief of staffs, I'm talking about supervisors who know better, but are saying these things to me. And for someone who's going through postpartum depression, these things just play in your mind. And you're like, did I make the right decision? Am I choosing, my kids over me? Am I choosing my career over my kids? What am I doing? And I realized I can't do this anymore. I cannot sit here and feel guilty or make other people make me feel guilty for having the career that I always wanted. I always wanted to be the chief learning officer. Always wanted to be a chief learning officer. But yet, because of the decision I made to get married and have kids, people are looking at me crazy or they're telling me, no, I'll never survive. I can't do this. And so that pushed me to go ahead and go to other working moms because I realized I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who's been said these horrible things. I'm not the only one that's cried themselves to sleep because they want more, but they can't get more because they got kids. And I realized that's not an excuse. Just because you have kids, that doesn't mean anything because I can take my kids everywhere I go. If I'm going up, if I'm going to be a chief learning officer, I'm bringing my kids with me. There's no reason for me to stop pursuing my goals because I have kids. And that's what really pushed me to go ahead and help other working moms and then go into those male dominated organizations and say, hey, if you want to retain your high performing working moms, because that's really the people who are doing your work, you need to make sure that you have systems in place, that you have flexibilities in place, that you have programs in place and career mobility in place for them to stay on their job and for you to attract other high performing working jobs for them to come and do the work for you. And so it really just pushed me to go ahead and start visionary initiatives. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to go into these organizations and also to coach the working moms that I've been able to touch. It's been such an amazing journey thus far.
I love that. And so everything that we kind of, you know, listen, and
Wow.
really don't how to give it up. I'm ready to beat people up for She's so nice and sweet and like such a mommy. And like, what happened? What was said? Who said what to you? Don't play with me. Like,
Wait a minute now. Let me tell you though, Chanel, because the
Mhm.
Baltimore City came out.
Listen, okay.
It came out.
Listen, I told you.
You said at the top of the call, beat you up if we need to. Okay.
Listen, I told you. Listen, we are very zen. We are very mindset
Yes.
driven, and we want to keep it cool, calm, and collective.
But
if
we
you
will pull the hair up.
Okay. So my next question is mindset, right? So we talked about that before, but literally everything that you guys said was tied to mindset. And so for me, in me building my business and my brand, similar to a lot of the stories, was I just felt like I was tired. Like I gave all of my time, all of my energy, dedicated my life, my soul, my everything to my career, like literally. And like you said, sometimes I used to have mommy guilt too, like, oh man, like I didn't get to, like there would be mornings where there would be times where I came in at midnight and then I leave at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to get back down to work because I'm like, oh, there's this open and that, and this needs to be done. And I worked in the hospitality industry and it was very volatile. So it was 24/7. So I would get calls at 2 a.m, 5 a.m, like whenever. I worked 1 week and I went away to England. This was the final straw for me. I went away to England and I worked the entire time to the point where my sister and my daughter came in. It's my daughter's first time in England. And she's like, it's 5:30. Are we going to do anything today? And I'm like, oh, right. But when I went, it was during budget season. It was month end. And so I had to get all of those things done in order to keep my job at the end of the day. Right. But then I was burnt out. I was dealing with discrimination and just disrespectful comments. And like I said earlier, I don't say that I look 11 because I think I'm grown, but you know, everybody sees me like, how old are you? Are you the housekeeping manager? Are you this? I'm everything but the GM, right? And so I dealt with that within the corporate office, but then also contractors and different people. So I just felt very beat down. And I had been working on my business part-time. I was doing the authoring thing and I was co-authoring in like 90 million books and I was doing a couple of speaking engagements. But I was like, I'd rather just build my own legacy. I'm tired of sitting here and devoting my time, my energy into building the lovely president of the company. He was fine. Don't get me wrong. He was so cool. Like, oh my gosh, he was great. But I was helping to build his legacy and his generational wealth. And I'm sitting here like living paycheck to paycheck. Don't get me wrong. I had to fly BMW. Okay. I had to fly. Like I was fly. Don't get it twisted. Right. But I wanted to really, truly focus on building my own company and building my own legacy and providing opportunities for like these for amazing women and the men too, y'all vibe. But I'm just saying for amazing women, because I know what it feels like to feel marginalized. I know what it feels like to feel discriminated against. I know what it feels like to be like, I know that I'm phenomenal, but I have to fight through all these barriers and break down all these doors and do Mortal Kombat moves to get to the next level. And it's like, no, I just rather go build my own table because I am the table. Okay. We don't fight for seats at tables anymore because we are the table. Okay. We don't want scraps under the table either because we are the table. I am just saying. So what do you think how do you think that you've grown from a mindset perspective in shifting from being an employee to now having your own empire? Who wants to start? I give the free reign. Take your mic on.
I'll start.
Go ahead, Jayla.
Okay. Do me a favor. Ask the question one more time, though.
I said, so from a mindset perspective, how do you think you've grown from being an employee to now running your own empire?
Okay. So yeah, there's definitely a different mindset with that. Like as an employee, and I know I said I was kind of forced into doing it, but I felt a lot of the same ways that you ladies were feeling too. There was definitely some discrimination that was happening in my job place. It was a really small place. It was like me, old white guy, and there was like I had another coworker, and it was just like it was all about him and what he wanted. It was just like, no, sir. I can do this, but like 10 times better than you. Without you. So mindset. Yeah. So as an employee, it was just kind of like a rat race almost. Like I get up, I go to work, I come home, it is what it is. And it's literally just like a cycle every day. And so I feel like with that mindset, it was hard to just grow as a person, just grow within my career. It was very just like, okay, I'm just taking every day as it comes instead of like looking forward and like just planning for something bigger. And so I feel like with having a business, without being that employee and being in that mindset, you think so much bigger, you dream so much bigger. It's like your dreams are achievable all of a sudden. So I think that's a really big difference, at least for me, versus, or from being an employee versus having my own business and being the CEO of my own business, just feeling like I'm in a cycle of life that is just, I don't even know what it is, versus like, okay, here's my plan, here's my dream, and here's how I'm gonna go achieve it. So
Right.
that's the difference for me with mindset.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Latika.
I will definitely have to agree with Jayla. I feel like I've been able to believe bigger, and really believe in the vision that has been given to me. I feel like when you are in a corporate position, you are building for somebody else, and you're doing everything for somebody else. But when you have your own, especially when it comes to career development, you're going to school for yourself, for you to become the subject matter expert and for you to be in the top 1% of your industry. You are getting that certificate, for me in the state of Maryland to be a small business owner, be identified as a small business owner so that other organizations can come to me. Like, you are going all out for yourself. And I think for me, that has helped my mind, my belief system, because now I believe more in myself. And I feel like in a employment position, oh yeah, you believe that you can get the job done. But when you are an employer or you're building your own empire, there's so much more that you can do and so much more that you can touch. And there's so many less restrictions than being in an employment position, because you have so many opportunities, especially us, because we're minority, women-owned businesses. So we have so many other things that we can, so many other resources that we can take advantage of than if we were in employment position. And so for me, it's just really heightened my belief in myself and what I'm capable of doing. I know my abilities. I know my skills. I know my knowledge because I wrote it out in my 5-page resume. But when it comes to building my empire, I'm a force to be reckoned with. And
Okay,
that's
plan.
something, that's something that, really has really strengthened what I believe in myself and how I walk. How I walk is different because of how I believe in myself.
Yes, that. Yeah. How's that song? What's that kind of a song? Wait till I get my money right. You can't tell me nothing, okay? Go ahead, Lindsay. Tell me.
Yes, I wanted to go last on this one just to kind of tie it all together because mindset has to be on point whenever you're making that shift from employee to entrepreneur to being your own CEO. Because whenever you are the employee, you essentially have someone else defining your worth. You have someone else saying that what you do for this business is worth $15 an hour or $10 an hour or $20 an hour or whatever it is. And
Can
so
you put
you
that
come
number up higher?
in.
Can you put the number up higher?
But for most people, it's not, right? And so you have someone else defining your worth. You come in, you do the work, and even when you give your all, they're still like, oh, okay, you get a 10-cent raise, even though you gave 200% more of the effort doing things that aren't even in your job description because you doing Susie's job and Jack's job and your job and the supervisor's job, like all of these things. And so oftentimes what I see in entrepreneurs is that making that shift, one, we often are getting away from the corporate so much that we forget that we still need a lot of those skills to run our business successfully. But then the biggest thing is just that own self-worth, because now you're in charge of what it is that you make. And you have those valleys, you have those moments where there's no sale coming today. And so it's easy to have that pity party and be like, okay, well, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. It's like I have the receipts, I have maybe the education, or I have the training, but why isn't it coming as easily as I thought? And so you really have to make sure that your mindset is on point, practicing that self-care so that you can be effective and productive, making sure that your self-worth is on point, because you're going to get those dings to your self-worth where it's like, it's making me feel some type of way. So you got to make sure that you're constantly building up your self-worth to know, like Latika said, that you are worth it, that you can do the damn thing because you are the shit in what you do, right? And so you have to constantly remind yourself, oh, okay, maybe a sale didn't come through today, but I have all of this experience, not only in life, but also in what I did do in my corporate position, or with the education that I did get, whether it was traditional education or, from the streets education, right? Because there's lots of different ways to learn, and just understanding that you have the ability to really dream bigger, like the other lady said. As long as your vision is big, you have everything that you need to reach that vision. If God gives you the vision, he will also give you the provision. And so you just have to make sure that you're prepared emotionally, mentally, physically to do what you need to do so that you can make that shift from being somebody else's employee to your own successful entrepreneur.
She said a bar. If God gave you the vision, he will give you the provision. Yes. I don't know what Bible verse that is. I'm going to say Luke between verse 17, but I'm lying. Don't believe me. Don't even look that up, because I definitely made that up. I definitely
I don't know either, girl. So
so you ladies literally said all of it. Well, from a growth perspective, I was on a growth journey while I was an employee, and it actually helped me to transition. But when I left, I realized I feel stressed. I'm like sweating thinking about it, right? I knew I had that much more work to do, because I had to shift myself out of, like, I was in a leadership role. I was in an executive role already. So I understood what it meant to run a multi-million-dollar business. But at the same time, internally, from a worth perspective, from a confidence perspective, from an emotional perspective, I was drained and I was burnt out. And that was part of why I worked so hard, because I was working to prove myself and that I was worthy to be in this position and all these other different things. And so I made it my business that I was not going. I now had control over my environment. And then I started making money. Then I realized, like, hold on, you are still doing the same things. Like, you have a boss. Like, why are you sitting here working for 14 hours stressing you? That makes no sense. Like, what are you doing? Like, so I literally stopped and I paused and I was like, there's some more transformation we got to do. There's some more here. Latika knows I'll be in that group. Like, listen, I hear y'all, and my goals I'm still focused on the goals, but I'm more focused on the inner Chanel. Like, because whoever this Chanel is, she has to go. Like, to the left. I packed it in a minute. That's all. Yes, she had to go. Like, I didn't want to leave Earth. No, but but I needed the person that I've been for however many years long. I'm not going to tell you my age. Mind your business. However long, how many years I was this person. She got me this far. Right. But who I wanted to be in being a CEO, who I wanted to be in being a mom, who I wanted to be as an individual, she was no longer serving me. So I was like, you have got to go. So I have grown substantially, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Listen, I will get in a bathtub for an hour and play meditation in the dark and zen myself out before I will have any one of y'all stress me out. Okay. Not the ones on this call, because these are the homies. I'm talking about the people, you in the camera. I will do all the things. And so my main goal was to have self-control, one, control over my emotions, one, control over my thoughts, because the negative self-talk be screaming, child, like screaming. Like when you get ready to post something on Instagram and you think that looks fire, they like, well, what if nobody likes it? well, what if this and what if that? Oh, I'm supposed to launch this book. Well, maybe I'll just push it back to 2025 because I'm just not. You have all of that negative self-talk. So self-control was one of the most important things that I wanted to transform and shift in my life. And so I did that. And now I feel like the Matrix. I feel like Keanu Reeves. Like, what happened? What happened? No, duck. You know what I mean? And only that will then allow me to have the abundance that I wanted. So I literally took the time to just transform myself in all areas. I'm like, what do I got to pull out? What habits do I have to break? What cycles do I need to get rid of? What patterns need to go? Who needs to go? Who? Yeah. Who needs to go? Like, if you're no longer, listen, listen, if you are no longer aligned to the vision, I'm sorry. I love you from a distance. You got to go that way. Because listen, if you don't have the right people around you, if you don't have the right energy around you, it can literally be part of your downfall. So listen, I take inventory quarterly. Okay, I got file cabinets for the people in my life too. Like, all right, like y'all in file cabinet 1, but the people that sometimes you gotta demote, you gotta promote, you gotta fire, like you gotta go. Like, you just have to do that because we all have a goal and we all want to get to the next level in life. And sometimes the people that seem like they cheering for you really be having a knife underneath the little, what's some things called? What's some things? Pom-poms, right? But yeah, so that's how I transformed. I did a whole life transformation. I'm just like, girl, you got to go. Like, who you been was great, but gotta go. So for you guys, what would you feel is one piece of advice that you would give to someone that wants to become a business owner? I'll give Latika because she didn't go first yet.
Well, I just was going to say, just what you were saying about the people, your circle of influence. I remember I'm a Tyler Perry fan, and there was, I can't remember exactly the play, but it was Christian Keys and Medea, and basically Medea was saying to Christian Keys' character, there are going to be certain people in your life, and it's like a tree. You're going to have people that are going to be your foundation, the root of the tree, and then you're going to have people who are going to be the branches of the tree. And those branches of the tree, they're going to go here and there with the wind. And some of them might just break off. You have to determine who's going to be those branches and who's going to be the root of that tree. And so it's just so, for me, it was amazing because that's something that I had to realize, that there's a lot of people I know, but just because I know a lot of people doesn't mean those people are good for me. You know, and that's something that I had to realize. And like Chanel, I also had to go through a soul healing journey, and I'm still on that journey. I think it's going to be ever evolving. But I had to, I had to realize that I had to stop blaming other people for what I wasn't doing. I kept on saying, well, I can't do this because I have kids. I can't do this because what is my husband going to say? I gotta stop blaming other people for my procrastination, and I have to go forward. So that is really what has helped me in this year. But I would say for me, reading a lot of books and talking to a lot of people like Chanel has really helped me to have that growth, And it was so important for me that even though I don't really, I don't coach on soul healing, but in my podcast, I really dedicated season 6. Every episode of season 6 is dealing with soul healing, because I recognize how important it is to have that growth. We gotta leave all of this back here, all that baggage. What did you say, Chanel? The unpacked luggage. We gotta leave all of that back here in order for us to get here. You know, and as an employer building their empire, you gotta leave some of the small stuff back here in order for you to get up here, because you cannot bring, it's just like an airplane. An airplane has a certain amount, they have a limit for luggage. And if your luggage goes over that limit, what is going to happen? You're going to weigh that plane down, and that plane is going to have a hard time accelerating up. They're going 30, 40, 50, 60,000 feet up in the air. But if they have all this luggage, it's keeping them down and keeping them slower. And they can't really accelerate and get to their destination. Sometimes you got to open up that airplane door, release that luggage so that you can soar and get to where you want to be, or where you're supposed to be, where you're destined to be. And that's something that really has helped me in this journey of really being able to go through that process and letting people, places, and things go.
Yeah, let the church say amen. Okay. Yes. Like you said, so like you said, listen, soul work. Whew,
it's tough.
It got me sweating. Like it it is one of the hardest things to do. Like, do you know, like a lot of us have, listen, I said we leave the luggage at the airport. Like, I don't want to see it. Leave it in lost and found. I don't even know. Like, to go and like unpack that, like soul work, like going back to when you're 5 and somebody hurts your feelings and pulling it out and like, whew, it is a wild work journey. Don't get me wrong. And like you said, it never ends, child. Like, I asked the universe to just expose my areas of opportunity, the people I need to remove, the habits. I asked the universe, and that the universe ain't stopped yet, child. Like, I don't want to say turn it off, but like, can I get a break? Yeah. Like, but no, absolutely. You are absolutely right. Inner child work, like all of that healing, like that is so important, because you don't even know how the little things that happened when you were younger impacting you today, and how you maneuver and your thought processes and how you see the world and your perception. Like, literally, and when you start unpacking it, you're like, oh, well, that's why I have an attitude every 5 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I look at something like that. Oh, I got that from my daddy. I got that from my mommy.
Yes.
Child, we could go on. That's a whole nother episode, child.
Yes. and this was generational. This is a generational challenge. And that's something that I had to realize, that there's some challenges that I have that are generational. Mm-hmm. People that I wasn't even raised with, but they're generational because they're in my bloodline. Mm-hmm. And what I had to realize is that I have to be that chain breaker. And in order for me to be that chain breaker, I got to go through this process of growth, because I'm not giving this down to my kids. They're not having this. They're not going to experience this.
You better.
I need to do more. I need to get myself together.
Yes.
And all those daddy and mommy and divorce and all that other stuff that happened. Look, my parents got divorced. That's their problem, not mine. Mm-hmm. You know, I got to leave that alone. And that has helped me so much. Yes.
It is freeing. It is freeing. What's that song? There's a power in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
To break every chain. Listen, I don't sing. I will never sit here and pretend like I'm Beyonce. Not even. I mean, I act like I am her, but I don't sing like her at all. But you know the song. Lindsey, what's one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that wants to become a business owner?
Listen, I'm going to have to flip from what I was originally going to say, because Latika just set that up perfectly. Everything y'all was saying, I was over here like jumping on the inside, like, yes. Keep my composure.
Hallelujah.
Because this is all in my wheelhouse. And the moment that you said about releasing that baggage, is so funny, because for New Year's Day, I had made a post, and one of the captions within the video was like, may you shed dead weight so that you can soar into greatness. So as soon as you started talking about that, I thought about that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna say this instead of this, because it's gonna tie all right. Listen, a lot of times we think that the things from our childhood don't affect us. The experiences that we had don't affect us. We think if we just keep it in a box, then everything's going to be fine. But then, like you said, you're triggered and you don't know why you got an attitude, or you don't know why you snap out when this happens, or you don't know why you procrastinate. But it's those subconscious limiting beliefs. And every single person walking this earth has a set of subconscious limiting beliefs. And what that means is that They're subconscious, which means they sit just below the conscious awareness. We like to think that we're in control of our actions and behaviors, but in reality, we only control about 5%. Our subconscious controls about the other 95%. So the things that we grew up learning from our caregivers, from the people that was around us as a baby, as a child, we take on their beliefs. Just like Latika said, it was a generational thing that kept getting passed down. So the way your mother thinks about money, or the way your father thinks about relationships, those beliefs are then ingrained into you and ingrained into your subconscious, and your environment usually reinforces those beliefs because of the people around you that are taking care of you, the reality that they have created, you are growing up in. And as you get older, then you are reinforcing those beliefs because you don't know any better. And if you're not exposed to different, then still you don't know any better, and you usually fall into the same cycles. So if you're ever sitting out there saying like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this, but it seems like no matter what you do, you just keep finding yourself in the same story of a different book, it's time for you to check your limiting beliefs. And usually that takes some outside help via a therapist and or a coach. And those are two different things, serve two different purposes, by the way. But it's important that you identify, what are my limiting beliefs? How do they show up in my behaviors? Because the way that those beliefs work, they influence your thoughts and the way that you think about things. They influence how you view the world, how you interact with people. So they influence your behaviors, which influences the reality that you create for yourself, which only reinforces those original thoughts that you have. So you have to know what those are and how they show up for you so that you can be intentional about changing them and breaking them and replacing them with something that's more productive, more effective, healthier for you, and can help you to get towards your goals. So I say all that to say, self-care is not selfish. And you must prioritize self-care in your life. And oftentimes as society, we like to think of self-care as like, oh, get my nails done, get my hair done, get a massage. But in actuality, self-care is so much more than that. It is dealing with those past traumas. It is healing those negative experiences that you've been through. And just because your trauma looks different than her trauma doesn't mean it's any less of a trauma, because we've all experienced some sort of trauma, and we have to deal with those things so that we can break those chains and break those patterns. And that is the ugly part of self-care that nobody wants to address, because it's ugly. And it takes a lot of work mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically, often physically, and even sometimes financially. But we have to be willing to do that so that we can break that cycle and truly start living what I call our first class life and really achieve our goals and dreams.
Girl, you just gave a whole speaking presentation. You know, like, listen, if you didn't take notes through that, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe play it back. I don't know. She gave a whole presentation. She gave a whole coaching session. Just so you know, like that's how you know this is what she does, because she did that in like what, less than a minute. I'm just saying. You said I play all day. I'm sorry. But like you said so many things. I didn't think that this was going to turn into a sermon, but it did, right? Like this episode, she's only talking 100% facts, like in regards to you really understanding who you want to be and then becoming that person. Like you could have the thought, like there's conscious awareness, and then there's the subconscious that you just have no idea. And so it's like so important for us to like really just take time. Like I got both. I have a therapist and a life coach. I don't play, like, and I be tag teaming sometimes, like, tag your because today
that's the best combo. That's the 1-2 punch right there. A therapist and a coach.
Listen, my therapist, I be having my moments, and then I'll talk to my life coach and I'll get it together, and then I go to my therapist and I'm like, well, this happened, but I'm doing this, and this. He's like, okay, like, so it's like it really helps you, honestly, because I feel like the life coach will help you to like deep dive, like go into the core of your soul. And I feel like the therapist will kind of give like surface, like not surface, but like they'll give you more of a conscious of like activities for you to do, or like the medical, or the, like, you know what I mean, the definitional piece. That's not even a word, I just made that up. Add it to the Derek. What's that thing called? The Webster people? Add that. Definitional. But I completely agree with both of you said in regards to like really digging deep, and really finding yourself and healing yourself. And because like you said, you don't want to pass those traumas down, because like you said, you guys said so many things in regards to cycles and breaking them. Like I just refuse, one, to pass down whatever traumas I've been through to my kids. And that's why I'm working so diligently, because I know I've been through some things, child, like whew, and I'm very open about them. But I know that. And so I just I it was brought to my awareness, and then I went into action. Like, how do I resolve this? How, as a CEO, you have a problem, okay, figure out how you can fix it, right? Okay, who do I need to hire to fix it? Who do I need to bring on to fix it? Who do I need to partner with? What group do I need to be around to get to where I want to be, right? And so it's super important for us to always be in heavy now action. But go ahead, Jayla. I'm sorry. I want to leave you hanging.
No, you're fine. You're fine. My answer is not as deep, for sure. Those are great answers. So great. But I'm not going that deep. So, my advice for someone who is maybe wanting to start a business or get into entrepreneurship is to see the vision through. I feel like that's something that I say a lot in my marketing, in my branding. It's part of my core message, is just to really see the vision through. I feel like for myself, like with me getting started, I had someone, a longtime business friend of mine, and he's like, do it, go full scale, do it, like months before I even lost my job or anything. And I'm like, yeah, but this, and yeah, but that. And like Latika said, I was like kind of making excuses and blaming other people for my procrastination and just not seeing the vision through. So I really needed to kind of come up with a plan, and not like a full solidified plan, but just something that I could put into action and just stick to it. And honestly, I really had to go back to that friend who was telling me all those things and go back to that advice, which was seeing the vision through and kind of sticking to your plan. So you guys have probably seen what's it called, King Richard, the movie that just came out. It was so good. If you did not see it, so good. This, what really, like, I was able to pull from the movie, the quote, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I'm just like, whoo, I'm living by that, okay? Because I love to plan my life out. And so I feel like when you don't have a plan, you don't have anything that you're working toward. There's no intention. There's none of that. So I would advise to see the vision through and to plan, because if you do not, you will fail. Maybe, but you'll probably fail.
She's not going to crucify you, like, but she's absolutely right. Like, if you can have all of these ideas, but if you don't have a plan to see it through, and I say, think of the big vision and then break it down into smaller micro things. Because I'll tell you, I make everything a mountain. Let me change my words. I used to make everything a mountain, like Mount Everest, like it, and it's like a speed bump, child. Like, so when you sit and you take things, you take the mountain and you chop it down into little pieces, then it doesn't feel like you're climbing Mount Everest. It might feel like you're climbing like a little hill, or like, a little street block. That's easier than getting to the top of Mount Everest. So you're absolutely right in regards to planning to fail. And my quick advice is to take the risk and bet on yourself. Like, if I didn't take the risk and say, you know what, I no longer want to be an accounting manager, I want to be an AGM, I could have sat I had the negative thoughts, like you said, limiting beliefs. Oh, I have kids. Like, what I mean, I'm going to be an AGM, and how am I going to do that? It's going to be volatile, and I'm leaving my nice little cute like office, and what is that going to look like for my kids? Oh wait, but I just been in accounting this whole time. How am I going to run an operation? What am I talking about? If I didn't take the risk and bet on myself, I wouldn't have became a GM. I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. I'd probably be sitting in a cubicle like, this is great. So my one piece is just to take the risk and bet on yourself, because bet on yourself. I promise you'll always win, but make sure you plan too, because like Jayla said. So I have a question before you. Then we're gonna take a quick listen. I love to do marketing, and I love to make things cute. So I'm gonna blast you guys with this trailer one more time, just so you can so you can see it and enjoy it. Like, listen, I paid to get it done, so you're gonna see it. So, what is one obstacle that you feel that you have overcome since you've been in business? I'll start myself. Okay. I was my own obstacle child. Like I could sit here and talk about finances and all those other things, and yeah, that's so true too. But I was me, Chanel, Margaret Spencer. That's why my old self had to go. I was my own obstacle, but I'm not anymore. You know, so watch what's gonna happen. Watch, stay tuned. Okay, guys, it's free reign. Who wants to say what the obstacle was? Who's ready to go?
I'll go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So like you, my biggest obstacle was myself, and it was like, oh, like I could do this, but do I really want to, like, it's, I don't know. It's just myself. I don't know what was wrong with me. But I think maybe more like specifically just the fear of not knowing. Because I like to plan so much. When I lost my job, it was completely unexpected. Like I asked about my job security on a Wednesday, and on a Friday I didn't have a job. So it was like I was terrified of what I didn't know, what I needed to know, and what I wanted to know but didn't know. And it was really scary. And so kind of going back to your advice, like I just kind of had to take the risk and just really jump into things and just do it. Come up with my little plan, evolve as my plan, or evolve with my plan, and just keep going regardless of having that fear, because that fear is still real. I still have it, but it's not as strong in the slightest. I'm like, I have a plan for what I want, the future to be. But I'm not afraid, if it doesn't end up happening that way, or if it goes a different way, or if I don't even know what's to come. But yeah, just the fear of not knowing was the biggest obstacle. So getting over that has been not easier said than done. The opposite of that.
No, 100.
I feel like once you do get over that fear, though, and it may be hard to really get over that fear to say 100% that you're over it. It makes the road a lot less smoother, or a lot more smoother.
Listen, Beyonce said she was releasing something. So if Beyonce still has fear, it's okay that I have fear. I'm just saying. But it's somebody on Instagram said you just have to unlock your effort button. Yeah. And so once you have the fear, you're just gonna be like, whatever, hit the button. I'm about to get one made. I'm just saying. Right. And that will help you to kind of push past the fear, because no matter what you do, you're always going to have fear. Like when I was doing dance class and I had to perform and do recitals, that's another conversation. But like we did the routine for like 19 months. So what am I scared of? But no matter what, you always get the little butterflies, right? But you just got to push past it. I'm not going to run back to forget it. I don't want to do it. No, I'm here. Like, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So I love what you said. That's so real and so true. Who's next? Go.
I would say definitely I had to push past blaming other people for my procrastination. I felt like I didn't have the support. I felt like no one in my family, particularly mainly my father, who had so many businesses but nothing ever was successful. And then, who's going to listen to, this Black girl from the east side of Baltimore, who? But I allowed other people's fear to be my fear. And I really had to push past that.
That was good.
I resonate with that a lot too. And especially just with the way that I looked. Like when I started my business, I didn't even want people to know I was a girl, and I didn't want people to know that I was Black. Because in my industry, it's just something that's like, it's just a prejudice thing. And I just that was a fear of mine. I did not want to deal with it. But at some point, and I don't really remember what got me to this point, I was just like, F it. This is me. This is who I am. And I resonate with that.
Oh, you know what's crazy, Jayla? I had that question in my head. Really? And I was like, so what we definitely got to touch on that. Go ahead, Lindsey.
Listen, y'all are my people. Y'all are my tribe. Because when I say y'all just set that up perfectly, because you already know what I'm going to say. You already know what I'm going to say. I will put all my chips in, all my coins in, that everyone's biggest obstacle is themselves. Everyone's biggest obstacle is the things that they tell themselves in their own minds, is the limiting beliefs, that they're struggling with and that they don't even know it. And that's why it's so important that you do the work, that you go on the personal journey and develop yourself in all of the ways so that you can identify what those are and how they show up for you. Like you mentioned yourself, you mentioned the fear of the unknown, that fear of, other people being placed upon you, because that's what happens. Sometimes people can only support you for as high as they've taken themselves. And for some people, that's not very high. And so you have to recognize that. And how is that affecting you? And how are you showing up or not showing up? And one thing I always say is check yourself before you wreck yourself, because it's easy to blame the external factors, but realizing that every single thing that you need is already inside of you. But whenever that dirt is getting thrown on you, all of those obstacles, you are a seed, and you have to make the conscious decision rather than being buried to be planted, because that's what happens with seeds. You see a seed and you don't see the flower, you don't see the fruit, the vegetable, you don't see the tree, you just see the seed. And then you throw it in the dirt and you cover it with more dirt, and it's dark and it's wet and it's cold. And that seed has to say, all right, I'm not buried. I'm in the perfect position to be planted. But that's a conscious decision that you have to make within yourself. So like I said, I would put all my money on everyone's biggest obstacles is their own mind and the thoughts that they think. And that's why it's so important to recognize what you're telling yourself and what your mindset is, so that you can become the person that you're truly destined to be.
Yes, you better come here with speaking presentation, but you thought she was cute. You thought she was cute because you definitely, this is what you did. I'm gonna tell you exactly. I know Lindsey, okay? So what she did was she came and she was like, I'm gonna use it as a teachable moment, and it was great. But you ain't tell us what your obstacle was, boo. Okay, so we would love to.
My own obstacle was me as well. For me, my main limiting belief was that feeling of not being good enough. And so how did that show up in my life? It caused me to be a people pleaser, to be a perfectionist, wanting everybody to like me. And how did that show up in my business? It made me procrastinate. Oh, well, this isn't good enough, so I can't put it out yet until it's good enough, because everybody has to like it once I put it out. And it took me some time to get over that and realize that everybody's not my cup of tea. Like, as happy and bubbly and positive as I am, I don't necessarily like everybody. So why should I expect everyone to like me? And even from the spiritual sense, you had people throwing stones and beating up and calling names on Jesus, and he was perfect. And ain't none of us perfect. So if he gets that, then why wouldn't we have that as well? So just recognizing that I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. And done is better than nothing at all. So progress is better than perfection. And for me, whenever I felt like I'm not good enough, I was so busy trying to make it perfect so that it was good enough for all the people to like it, only to end up procrastinating and not putting anything out. So that was something that I had to overcome really a lot in my business, and even different ways at different levels. So yeah, it's an ongoing journey.
Listen, my name is Chanel Spencer, and I am a recovering perfectionist. Okay, my podcast cover, I did that in 2019 in November. You ain't see it till about June 2020. Okay, like, so yes, my name is Chanel, and I am a recovering perfectionist. So yes, the effort button is. I'm so serious. I promise you, I'm going to get one made, and I might even sell it. Okay. So I can help other people that struggle with the same thing that I used to. Because perfection is definitely debilitating for sure. So I completely agree with you on that. So on that note, we've been going strong and long, and it's been really great. And so I'm going to hit y'all with this quick trailer to enjoy it. Because, the reason why we're here is for Employee to Empire. Okay. We are here because we are building our own empires. We are employees building an empire. We are fully building our empire. And we are here just trying to take over the world. Not trying. We're not trying. We are taking over the world, smashing our goals, building generational wealth, building legacy, breaking cycles, doing all of those lovely, great things. So why not share with you? So tap into this real quick. that trailer. I'm just back here like, yeah. So if you have not gotten your copy, I need you to go do that right now. Employeesempire.com. Like, we just listen. We buy domains over here. I have like 900 million domains. I can run them down to you all day. I get an idea and I'm like, oh, let me go buy that domain. Oh, let me go buy that domain. So go to employeetoempire.com. I'm giving you tea. I'm giving you a tip. When you get an idea, buy the domain. Even if you don't have anything ready to go, buy the domain. Okay. So I'm going to bring our lovely, lovely, lovely business owners back to the stage. I'm super excited. And we're going to get into this tea. And they're going to tell you how to connect with them and what they have going on next. Because listen, like I said, I thank them for their time. I thank them for their energy. I thank them for their contribution to this project. And I hope that you love and enjoy all of it. And make sure you reach out to them, okay? Because the purpose of this is to connect and expand our businesses. And all of them are amazing. And they offer amazing, phenomenal services. Trust me, I've worked with all of them in some kind of way, shape, or form. And if I didn't think they were phenomenal and extraordinary, they would not be on this stage. So if I think that they are, and you think that I am, you got to believe me and go spend some dollars. Okay, let me bring the beautiful people back to the stage. Hi.
Hello.
So I was just gonna go into the what's next for you, but Jayla, I had this question in my mind because we are all beautiful Black women, and I feel like the journey of Black women are different than most. And so when you said, the challenge that you had with in the fear perspective of being Black and being a woman, and then also with your within your job, like what do you feel, what has your experience been, and what advice would you give to a Black woman that wants to start their own business, or maybe even struggling with things within the corporate world? Because I'm telling you, I was one of them too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So honestly, I think that goes really deep. For myself, I had to get comfortable with who I was in order to communicate, I guess, and express how I wanted to be dealt with from other people. So feeling confident enough to express that, feeling clear enough to express that within my own head and all that stuff definitely helped. I can't say that there's been any like blatant just like disrespect or anything like that as far as prejudice, racism, or anything like that. So I haven't dealt with that. Thank God I haven't dealt with that. But I have felt undertones of it a little bit, nothing like direct, like I said, but undertones. And so it really just makes me want to be sure within myself. It makes me even more proud of who I am as a person. Yeah, I feel it just goes really deep into who you are as a person, you feeling comfortable and you just wanting, and maybe not wanting, but just feeling comfortable expressing that and feeling confident expressing that. Like it even goes to the point where I didn't wear my real hair for a very long time, like maybe until like 2017, I started wearing my real hair.
Girl, what? I wish.
But yeah, and then also just being confident about your abilities and your skills, your capabilities, all that stuff. Like it goes really deep.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Surface level, just really being, addressing yourself and just be comfortable with yourself. It just makes that big of a difference when it comes to that fear and just presenting yourself and your business to other people.
What do you feel? So you said something, what did you say that made me think of this question? You were saying that you didn't necessarily experience. No, so what happens is there's oftentimes where you have an experience that then puts the belief or puts a shift in your mind, right? But you said that you didn't have that. So then what made you innately be like, oh, I don't want anybody to know that I'm a Black woman, if you didn't necessarily have an experience in that way? Like what was the belief in your mind, or maybe something that was said to you or something that was taught to you that made you automatically feel that way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So it was definitely going back to like the undertone type things. Like I worked in my athletic department at my alma mater for 4.5 years. Even after that, but 4.5 years in the office. I shared an office with another graphic designer at this point, and and it may be because I was a student, I was an intern, but for 2 years I was there holding it down, like doing everything for athletics. And then this girl came in and like I just got kicked to the curb. So there was that. People would come into the office. They would come into our little tiny office. They wouldn't even speak to me. They wouldn't say anything to me. I'd been there for 4 years, 4.5 years. And at the end of my time there, I wouldn't get spoken to. I wouldn't get invited to anything. Like, it was just like I was an outsider and I didn't know why. So I feel like that's kind of where that came from. And it honestly, it may not have been like a racial thing or a prejudice thing or anything like that. But that's definitely the vibe that I got from it. Like I said, nothing super direct, but just very like undertone. And then it's funny because there was this one time at my past job, at the print shop job that I worked at, I had on like a utility jacket, some jeans, and like a black shirt or something. That's Black History Month. This guy, he was a white guy. He goes, "Oh my gosh, you look like Malcolm X or something." And then he's like, "And you smell like a Sally's beauty store." Literally all in the same sentence. And I was like, what? Where did this come from? So for me, at that point, I was comfortable with who I was, with what I displayed. So I had to take it in for a second, but I came back the next day and I educated him. I was like, look, if you were talking to another Black girl, I don't know how that would have went. But that's not how you speak to Black girls, and that's not how you speak to girls in general. Don't give a compliment if you're gonna like backhand it with like a slap. Like, no. If my hair smells good, let me know my hair smells good. If you think your outfit's nice, let me know. So being comfortable with yourself goes a long way.
So when you said that, like the first thing that came to my mind that I used to struggle with all the time, just within my career, was just like, if I wasn't a Black woman, if I wasn't a woman, that's one. But then if I wasn't a Black woman, would you feel comfortable enough to say that to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like what? Stop. Anyway, go ahead, Latika. Go ahead, Latika.
What was the question again?
I don't remember because now I'm like, oh, I'm triggered as hell. I'm ready to fight.
Yes.
Like, let me stop. I said, in regards to being a Black woman, like, what advice would you give to someone that wants to become a business owner that's a Black woman, but also, like, what has created your belief system in being a Black woman? I don't know if that's the question, but I think that was something like what I said.
I think for me, just being confident in who I am, because like Jayla, I didn't wear my hair either. And in a male-dominated industry, most women that work with you have straight long hair, and wear the 3, 4, 5-inch heels, and the nice fitting clothes. And for me, I was a mommy, so I had a really nice shape. And not trying to toot my own horn, but I had natural hair. And for me, that was hard for me, but I had to be true to myself. To say, the reason why I have natural hair is because I want my hair to, be protected. I want my hair to, not have to have any chemicals in it, and so forth and so forth. And I had to work on confidently walking into a government building as a Black woman with the name of Latika with natural hair. And that is not common, walking into a federal government building in DC, but I had to be confident in doing that. So I would strongly encourage anyone who's trying to get to that next level in their career or build their empire, just to be confident in who you are. God made you who you are. And even though, like for me, I could not understand why my parents gave me a name like Latika, but gave my brothers and sisters common names. I had to be comfortable, and I had to be confident that I may be different. I may look different. I may sound different. My name may be different, and you may not understand how to say my name, even though it's spelled how you say it. But I'm going to be confident in who I am. And I'm going to walk in that confidence, even though you may look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm going to walk in that confidence. So I just encourage everyone to know who you are, and walk in that confidence.
Aw. Let me say something. Child, I still don't wear my natural hair. Like, listen, the only people that see it is the bathroom mirror. Okay, when I'm taking out my weave and or my braids. Okay, I'm just saying. So kudos to you because I tried it one time and it was giving silly, honey. And no offense, silly, it was giving color purple, honey. And I can like if I knew how to manage it, then I would figure it out. But child, I
Yeah.
put so much damn coconut oil and deep conditioner to try to like do something in the morning. I put the little bantu knots. Like I'm gonna just watch
Mm-hmm.
this tutorial and I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
popping. I called out of work the next day, honey, and went and got some box sprays because Chanel was not going. Chanel was not going. No, we were not. We were not going. No, we were not going back to work like that. The Bantu knots did not work. So I don't know who I got to follow to get that together, but not. But yeah, so shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Lindsey, go ahead and give your thoughts, and then I'll give you my
What I want to say to
Mhm.
any Black woman that is watching this, anyone in general, but definitely to the Black women, because we take a lot from all sides, is that you are good enough. You have always been good enough. You are good enough right now, and you will always be good enough because we are bombarded with messages from the people around us sometimes, and definitely from society, that we aren't good enough. Hence, my own limiting belief, right? Having to get over that and knowing and accepting that you are good enough, because if you don't believe you're good enough, no one else will believe it either. And people are going to treat you how you allow them to treat you. And again, if you don't believe you're good enough, then you're never truly going to achieve the life that you desire for yourself, because you have to know that you are worthy of it. For me, that showed up different ways, just not feeling like I was good enough, especially I lived in a predominantly white neighborhood, went to predominantly white schools. And so I always had to give so much more effort just to prove that I was half as good enough, knowing that I'm like 10 times better. But why do I have to do so much extra work just to prove that I'm as equal, right? And then it didn't help one very significant experience in high school. Whenever I was on the cheerleading squad, there was me, tall black Lindsey, and then there was another tall white Lindsey. And there was a situation that happened, and I got kicked off the cheer squad. And I had
Oh,
a
we jumping.
legitimate
We jumping. What
reason.
happened? What happened?
Listen, I went home sick from school, like to the nurse's office. Nurse was like, you going home. I tried to find my specific cheer coach. I couldn't find her. Mind you, I'm sick, trying to go home, but I'm still trying to make sure, because you weren't allowed unexcused practices, right? And then what I did was I found a different cheer coach. Mind you, they all cheer coach us, but she just wasn't my main cheer coach. And I was like, I just wanted to let you know I won't be at practice because I'm going home sick. Literally, the nurse is sending me home. My mom's on the way now. And I got kicked off. And then there was the other Lindsey who did some off the wall shit that ain't my business to tell, but then she's
She probably
captain.
was.
And
I'm just
so,
kidding. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say that
listen,
word.
that only
No, this is
further
me reacting, not
ingrained
Tanya. Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good enough. So you see what I mean? Those limiting beliefs are shaped by our surroundings and our environments and the thoughts that we think. So she's the captain, I get kicked off, and I had a real reason. So it's like, all right, well, she's white, I'm black. So again, that just showed like we have to do so much more just to prove that we're half as good enough and we are equally as good enough. So that is my biggest thing, is that I want you to know that you are good enough and you have always been good enough, and you will continue to be more than good enough. And you have to believe that for yourself and not let other people define your worth.
Absolutely. Listen, child. You asked it a lot, and this is a very. I did a whole anthology project, okay, on being black. Like that's how like it resonates with me. Our truth is not a lie. I have like 17 other authors, and we all talked about our experience in being black in America, and it is. Listen, I love being black. I don't want to be any other race. Okay, black forever. Like that's what I got to say. What did Toby say? I'm black, 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 black. I'm hella black. Yeah, like yes, I'm all of that, right? So I'm proud of who I am, my ethnicity, my race, the English, the England in me, the Jamaican in me. I could do both. I could eat dumpling and I could go to England and have some prawn cocktails, whatever, crisp, whatever. Like I could do all of that, right? But like what Lindsey said, I always felt that I had to be 10 times better. And you know, when you're raised, you already have those thoughts in your mind about being black and what it means to be black from when you're a child. So then you grow up with those thoughts already. So when you walk into, like when I used to walk into corporate spaces, I used to sit and be like, all right, like what am I going to wear that I don't look too black? How am I going to put my hair so that I don't look too like you literally think about that, or you immediately think like, oh, I'm about to be so uncomfortable because I'm probably going to be the only black person in the room. And they're going to ask me, oh, is this my real, how did you put the braids in your hair? Like I used to literally have tutorials about my weaves. Like, no, it's not sewed into my scalp. What are you talking about? Like, what? No, like what? What? No, this is crochet. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you know, like, and, and like having people call me what's Shanae and like Keisha and every name but Chanel. And then if one more person, if I told you my name is Chanel and you in the next sentence call me Chantel, I promise you, all of the mindset transformation that I did in the past few years is going to go out the window because I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't know what. As a matter of fact, I have two N's in my name on birth certificate, so I don't know where you get the T from. Where you get the T from? Tell me, please, please. Right. And I feel like Lindsey taught in the clubhouse room, like your name is like the most important thing. And for so long, I never used to correct people. I'd be like, okay, Chantel, my name is Chantel. But I feel like people also use that as a way to minimize you, right? Like they sometimes intentionally call you out your name so they could like, oh, you're not that important. Oh no, honey, what we're not going to do today is this, right? Because who I was yesterday no longer exists. So if you thought you was going to get cute, oh, trust me, I can get Beyonce in here. Okay. Okay. I can get Rihanna in here real fast. Stop playing with me. All right. I'm going back to my, okay. Right. And so in my corporate experience, I always felt like I had no room for error. I felt like there was no margin of error for me and me being a black woman. I felt like I had to be 15 times better. So the pressure that you put on yourself, like the self-inflicted pressure that you put on yourself because of being black and because of being a woman is debilitating within itself. Right. And that's why I used to work the way that I used to work. And so now within my company, that's why I am so glad I am a CEO, because now I can be like, I'm not gonna put my middle fingers up. I promise I'm not. But visually, you know what I'm saying. Like I don't have to deal with you. Like you want to be disrespectful. Oh, all right, then no problem. Okay. And here's a refund. As a matter of fact, no, I'm keeping your money because you thought you was gonna be cute. So don't worry about it. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna keep your money. It depends. It depends. It depends. Just don't play with me. Anyway, like you know what I mean? The people that I have around me, the people that I want to work with, the things that I want to do, there's no ceiling anymore. Like no one has control, no one has any power. Like I don't have to fight for a promotion. I don't have to fight for you to give me $1 raise. I don't have to fight for anything. I could go get my own raise. I can be like, oh, I want to make this next year. I can build my own. And that's the beauty of being a business owner, is that you no longer have to be forced to deal with certain environments or deal with certain people anymore. You have the freedom, keyword freedom, to do as you please. So if you want to play, what's that song? If you run up, you get done. Yes, all of that. Like, and so I'm just saying that to say, and with all that you said, like, yes, and being a Black woman, you kind of already come into spaces and into rooms already in with the internal conversation. And like Lindsey said, you just have to understand that you are enough, that you are beautiful the way that you are made, and you were made that way for a reason and for a purpose. And we out here taking over. What did they say? Black women was like 900% of the business I don't know. Don't listen to my statistics. I be making numbers up in my head every day. I'm just saying. But in my mind, we 900% of the business, like the businesses that flourished and have turned into business owners and all those things, because we are amazing. We are phenomenal. We taken over. And oh, you thought that we was going to be on some, like, we Rosa Parks in here, okay? We Rosa Parks. What's all the, tell me the ladies, we Maya Angelou, we Rihanna, I love Rihanna. I love you. I've been talking about Beyonce all this time, but I promise you, Rihanna, you number one, okay? Like, she's in my top 5. You are number one, okay? I'm just saying. But listen, we are all of those amazing women embodied, and as we continue to thrive, as we continue to have success, we are breaking those cycles, and we are helping Black women, Black girls to do the same. And so that's what is the driver behind my company, behind all that I do, is to provide women with opportunities and to show like you can do it too. When I became a GM, everybody was like, "Oh, you did it? Oh, definitely. I'm. Tell me what I got to do to get to where you are. I want to make 6 figures too. I want to be a manager. And that's the purpose. I'm willing to be the pioneer so that I can open doors for as many people that come with me. But let me tell you something. I'll bring you on my ship, but I promise you, if you try to poke a hole in it, I don't got life rafts on my joint. I don't got life rafts. I don't have none of that. I don't have lifesavers. I will kick you off the side of the, don't play with me. Anyway, we back. so Lindsey, go ahead and tell the people what's next for you. I'm going to give you the stage. Hold on.
Well, what is next for Lindsey Vertner Global and the First Class Life Brand? I'm super excited because I will be launching Co-work and Chill, and they will be weekly virtual co-working sessions for high achieving women. So what we just did right here, you can register and we can do it all over again for your business. You can get feedback, you can get in the hot seat, and then you're going to take action right there on the call. And I'm super excited because I like to do retreats. So we're going to have quarterly live destination co-work and chill masterminds. So rather than being on the computer like we are every week, we going to fly somewhere and we going to all be in the same house, don't have to pull outside, and we going to do it live and work on our businesses and get shit done, work on our visions, work on our goals, whatever it is that you want to work on. So that is what I'm most excited about. And then obviously I'm still coaching, still speaking, and doing all the things there, but I'm super excited to launch this next phase of Co-work and Chill. So the site is not live yet, but it will be coworkandchill.com. Just make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at Lindsey Vertner. As long as you spell my name right, you will find me. That way you can stay updated whenever registration is open. And that is it. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Make sure that you get your copy of this book because it's lit and it's going to help you get your life together. Okay?
That was amazing, Lindsey. So for me, I would say in Visionary Initiatives, I cannot wait until September when I will host the Empowerment Breakfast. We have not been able to do this because of COVID, but I am determined that 2022 is going to be our year to be the visionary woman. So I cannot wait for September when I will host this I Am a Visionary Woman Empowerment Breakfast here in the DC area. I am just so excited because we're going to have a keynote speaker who's a really good dear sister of mine who's going to be sharing about being that confident woman to really pursue that vision that God has given you. We're also going to have a panel discussion on what it is to be visionary. And I'm so excited because this is not just going to be a breakfast. This is actually going to be a 2-day event. So the Friday before, we are going to have a Rest in God Day. And I cannot wait for it because on this day, all who attend are going to find time to rest in God, to grab their notebooks and pens, rest in God, hear from Him. And that evening, we're going to have an empowerment speech, if you will, with dinner. And I can't wait for you to be a part of it. So definitely connect with me at Visionary Initiatives on IG, where you'll learn more about it. But in addition to that, I also am doing coaching, training in corporations that are male dominated, and also speaking, and also the podcast, The Latika Vine Show. So I'm just so excited to be here. And I thank you, Chanel, for this opportunity.
There we go. I was hitting the wrong key. But it was such a pleasure being amongst all of these incredible ladies this evening. So what's next for me? What's next for Ultravision? Right now, I've actually been working in my business a lot more than I've been working on my business. I don't really have the ratio that I like right now, but I guess it's a good thing. So I'm taking on lots and lots of projects right now, all super manageable though. So if you are wanting to get a project started, just go ahead, send me a message on Instagram. My tag is at ultra.vsn. You can see it right down there too. And then just for the business in general, working on my business, I really want to just focus on sustaining my business for growth for the year to come and just sticking to my plan. I kind of got off track from my plan last year. So I'm really trying to take my own advice and just get back to it, evolve with my plan, and just see the vision through.
Yes, yes. Child, listen. Whew, I'm so glad I wasn't on camera. I'm not going to snitch on what happened. But anyway, so I appreciate you, lovely, beautiful ladies coming through. Tell the audience one more time how they can connect with you. And we're going to wrap this up. God.
I am Jayla B. You can connect with me on Instagram at ultra.vsn. You can send me an email at JaylaB. JaylaB at Ultravision. It's my business name.com. I'm always checking my email, so you'll always get a response.
I am Lindsey Vertner, and you can find me across all social media platforms. Just pick your poison at Lindsey Vertner, LindseyVertner. Please let me know how I can support you. If you find me one place, you can find me all the other places as well. So at Lindsey Vertner.
And you can connect with me at Visionary Initiatives everywhere, and also at www.visionary-initiatives.com.
Yes. And y'all better plug y'all shows. Go ahead. What shows y'all got going on? Listen. I am the plug and resource queen. Okay, I'm all about you plugging your business. Plug. I don't care. This is the time to shine. Go ahead.
So y'all can't see my mug over there, but it is the Latika Vine Show mug. And it is a work-life balance podcast for working moms. So similar to what we talked about here, I talk about it on a podcast. We are almost at the end of season 6. I cannot believe it. We're at season 6, but I can't wait to move forward and really find out what the next direction of the show is. So yes, and you can check me everywhere on the Latika Vine Show.
I had a blast. I was a guest, and it was so much fun. And I already love Latika because, like, she gathers me and she tells me, and she like what she does is she like gut punches me for like 1 second, and she's like, "Come here, give me a hug. It's all right. Like, you great. Like, it's all right. Like, it's all right." And I appreciate her. I really, really do. She's amazing. Go ahead, Lindsey. What you got going on?
Yes, if you need a speaker for your event, for your corporate training, or whatever it is, then reach out to me at liveafirstclasslife.com. You can also catch previous episodes of the Happy Hour Show on my YouTube, on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, all of those good things. If you're in the UK, you can find it on the radio station. And then just in a couple of weeks, First Class Life podcast will be launching. It is a podcast for high-achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact, all while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So it's a personal development show, help you get your life together. So again, you can find me on social media platforms to stay updated on the different things like the Happy Hour Show, First Class Life podcast, and everything else. liveafirstclasslife.com, at Lindsey Vertner. Check me out.
Oh no, I better be on she wants on the podcast. I better be a guest. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, you and you. Yes, what's that song? I like her, and her.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's a Mr. Ratchet snuck out, right?
Her. What song is that? I was about to sing Capilla Gray, but it's not his song.
No, we not gonna sing that song.
She. Who is it?
I like her, and her. I want them to do that over there. Over here. She got a dunk.
Oh,
That's why I stay in my lane. I'm not a rapper, okay?
I thought you were talking about Capella Gray. Capella Gray is an artist.
No.
From
All of y'all
Vertner
ladies get to be guests,
gotcha.
okay? So.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that song. And I'm just kidding. Sorry. And we're back. So I thank you all for coming and being a guest on this lovely virtual launch. And I thank you all for contributing to Employee to Empire. I was honored when you said yes, because I picked you guys. Because, I know a lot of people, right? But like not everybody's great. So I wanted specific individuals that I knew were extraordinary and were doing the things in the world that they wanted to in heavy action, fighting obstacles, overcoming adversities, and just doing the thing. And you guys inspire me. And so I wanted to inspire others. I like to share, except my money, but I like to share. So I appreciate you guys for real, for being a part of this project and the other ones that we got coming. Like I got you two on Maximum Evolution. I got Jayla on a couple that I'm not announcing yet, but I'm so excited. And I really, really, really appreciate you guys and your contribution to my company and my brand and me as an individual, but your contribution to the world. And listen, we're going to be game changers and we taking over. So this is not the last time you're going to see us. I'm just letting you know. But until then, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you go get a copy of Employee to Empire. And let me hit you with the trailer one more time before we wrap this up. I just love that trailer. The music, it's just a vibe. I love it. I love creativeness. I just love it. But I appreciate all of you for tuning in. I appreciate all of the lovely, 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 amazing, phenomenal, extraordinary women that was on this amazing episode. It just gave me such life, and it just gave me even more inspiration just to continue to just thrive and push forward and to just, continue to create projects and just take over the world. What's that song? We run the world, girls. We run the world. But if you have not gotten your copy of Employee to Empire yet, go to employeetoempire.com and get that right now. And I will see you next time. And I'm sure you guys are probably sick of seeing me, and you probably know how to find me. But I'm gonna tell you anyways. You can find me at Chanel Spencer Now everywhere, and Maximum Evolution. But people like to see me first, and then I get them to go to my business. I'm just saying. But I appreciate you guys. Until next time, bye, beautiful people.